Peace and blessings. Let's talk briefly about the temple. As I mentioned, um, I used to participate in temple ordinances for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints, otherwise known as the Mormon Church. They have temples. So let's break this down. What is the temple symbolic of? The temple is symbolic of the self. Okay? The Bible tells us that know ye not that ye are the temple of God. You see, God lives in you. Now, that's why they say God, the temple is where God resides. That's where he lives. If you want to find God, you go visit the temple. You go into the temple, okay? This is all symbolic of going into yourself to be able to experience and know God, okay? Because, you can only experience God from within, and then next you go outward, right? It's just like birth, you're in the womb and then you come out into the world. It's one step at a time, okay? So, anyways, you have to go within. That's why when you pray, you close your eyes. You don't look up to the sky, you close your eyes. Now, there's a lot of symbols in the church. There's a lot of symbols in many organizations, Freemasonry as well. A lot of these symbols are tools, like you have the square and the compass, right? These tools are basically symbols of ways of thinking. They're symbols of perception, okay? And a lot of these tools will represent a different angle of perception, okay? So you can utilize those tools psychologically to evaluate yourself, to better understand yourself, to better understand nature. And the thing is that it's all hand in hand. It's all relevant. Everything is connected. Everything is one, as above, so below. Now, the tools, obviously the compass, the square, and the level. Now, only Mormons are going to understand what I'm talking about here, but other people involved in the occult and the esoteric will understand it from a different perspective, and that's fine. Now, if you have perhaps say the symbol of a level, let's say you connect the symbol of the level with the navel, okay, the belly button. Okay, now when you were a baby, that's where you were fed, okay? Now, what does the level, what is it a symbol of? It's a symbol of balance, right? Equilibrium. Now, for example, this is a level, right? What is a level for? It's to help balance, it's to help find the center, right? Because extreme is not that good, okay? If you're more to one side than the other, okay, it can cause you problems in your life. Now, the idea is to avoid extremities, okay? To focus, right? Be able to center your understanding, your awareness, because you don't want to be too far right, you want to be too far left, because for example, the right side of the brain is the emotionally, the feminine side, and the left side of the brain is the masculine, the intellectual, the thinking, the calculative, right? So on the right side, you have emotion, imagination, creativity, right? So you have those two sides, and when you realize that your nourishment comes through being level, you know, this is where when you understand this, you begin to seek out that middle path. Okay, you don't try to live your life on either side. Okay, you understand that both of these sides, they play an important role in your life. the right side of the brain and the thinking can imagine all of the possibilities of life, it can imagine the dangerous situations, it can imagine things that don't exist, and it can also cause those feelings, okay? The imagination has emotion attached to it. All this on the right side of the brain, okay? So if you have happy thoughts, you'll have happy emotions, sad thoughts, sad emotions, all that's connected. And then on the left side, you have the intellect, right? So on the right side, if you imagine that, you're in a harmful or dangerous situation and you begin to become fearful, well, that's obviously bad if you're not actually in a dangerous situation. The point is that your mind can imagine things that aren't real and it's not true. So that's why you need the left side of the brain, the intellect, the masculine side, to reel in the right side. And you need that balance. You need them to work together. You need them to this is sort of a celestial marriage where they come together, the male and the female, and they come together in understanding, and they work together in unity and harmony. Okay, this is in the center. They're meeting in the center. Okay, the path of neutrality. You look at the triad. If you research the esoteric meaning of the triad, you'll find the same thing. It's all about you have the male and the female, and then at the top you have the child. Okay, that which is born from the male and the female. So whenever you have ideas and possibilities of, imagination, creativity, things that you're wondering, can you make them happen? The left side of the brain, the intellectual, has to come in and analyze it, and it has to calculate, and it has to think this through. Is it possible? How can we do this? What can we do to make it possible? So together with the male and the female working, you can create something from that. Okay, you can create a product, you can create change in your life, you can create habits that can bring you happiness and prosperity and peace. And it all begins in the mind, the body, the temple. Okay, so that's basically the symbol of the level on the navel. Okay, is basically your nourishment comes through celestial marriage. Okay, and it comes through balance, and it comes through being able to understand that you are neither. Okay, it's being able to realize and set down that you just are. You're just in the moment. You're just living. You're here now. You don't have to be emotional. You don't have to be intellectual. But at the same time, you can utilize them both. It's about having ultimate knowledge over yourself and not being consumed by one or the other. Because some people are not aware that they have a choice, that they have any control over the way that they feel or they think. They don't realize that they are not their thoughts. They are not their emotions. They're totally separate. And the way that you can tell this is because you might say, well, who is Bob, right? Bob is this guy with this story. He likes dogs. He likes, he likes philosophy. He likes cars. But, is that really Bob? Because those things are, they can change over time. Like maybe he won't like philosophy one day. Maybe he won't like cars anymore. Maybe it's just a phase. The things that come and go and change, the way we think, our perception of the world, those things aren't really who we are. But people don't realize this. They don't understand that. They don't know that they just are. They are just one with God. They think that they are their thoughts. They think that they are their emotions. But anyways, that is the thing that we are to it's one of the things that we can extract from the teaching of the symbolism of tools, okay, such as the level, right? And so that which we take in, our perception of the world, right, is our nourishment, okay? It will determine our outlook on everything. And a lot of times, if you live your life through a particular religion, that religion will determine your perspective on the world. And through your perspective, you have to understand that there are going to be emotions attached to that perspective. So you can, you know, lock yourself into one way of looking at the world, okay, but that's going to affect your thinking and your emotion. So how you decide, whatever filter you decide, whether it's Christianity or whatever form of Christianity, or it just doesn't matter, any kind of life philosophy, any kind of perspective is going to determine the way that you think and look at the world. Now, if you want to open your mind and experience more, then you have to be able to let all of the restrictions and of that doctrine or philosophy or religion, you have to be able to just drop those and let those go and open your mind to perceive things as they are, not as you think they are or you want to think they are, not as good or bad. You know, like we were saying with the level, it's about getting out of an extreme, right? It's about being in the middle and accepting reality for what it is instead of saying, oh, it's bad, you know, it's sad, it's anxious, or maybe even, you know, it could be you're too intellectual and you're looking at the world through an intellectual, which is kind of boring and dull, right? So you have to learn to do the middle path. But, anyways, so what is the lesson in the temple, right? The lesson, the main lesson, when you reach the plateau of the temple experience, where is it? We know where it is. It's in the celestial room. Okay, everything is white, right? Everything is pure and holy and quiet, right? What's this telling us? It's telling us that after we have passed, you know, we pass the veil. What we have done at the veil is we have shown that we understand what is being taught, and we have shown that we understand the that it takes effort, it takes steps, it takes understanding, right? It takes progression. It takes progression through up the steps, and then once you understand, okay, once you understand the level on the navel, once you understand that, you understand that you have entered into the presence of God. Okay, as much as you're going to get in this physical realm, you have walked through the veil. You pass through the veil of perception. Okay, the mind. Like I said, the temple is the mind. Once you pass through the veil in the mind of perception, you get down to experience. Okay, and so you realize in there that everybody's the same. Okay, there's no labels in the celestial room. You know, there's no judgment, there's no sound. It's symbolic of pure light. That's what it is. It's symbolic of pure light, and in that light you realize that everything is one. God is one, we're one, everything is God at the pure center of everything. That's all it is. So anyways, that's what it is, and that's what I was wanting to basically explain, and not really reveal anything like, you know, grips or tokens or passwords, none of that stuff, but just basic philosophy of understanding. You know, a lot of people, they go through these experiences and they don't realize what's being taught, you know. And basically, if you don't understand, you know, the point of it all and what's being taught, you're going to miss the point, you know. You're not going to progress to the next level. You know, you're not going to understand that it's all about purity and oneness, and that does not come from some false perception or a dogmatic view or a perspective. It comes through, you know, letting go of everything, all of your preconceptions, all of your judgments, and just opening your mind to reality, not your thoughts, not your feelings and your emotions. All those things play a role in our existence for sure. I need to do a little video on that sometime. But anyways, that's just some thoughts for now. I hope everybody's doing good. Peace.